So today I thought I'd do a little garden update and give you a tour of what all we have growing around here. I do have to say that this year the struggle has been real on trying to get the garden going. I have been struggling and it's just not panning out very well. I had really high hopes for my garden this year because I got that new garden fence and I was really going to grow a big, beautiful garden, and, well, my garden kind of actually resembles the bottom of a crusty, dried-up lake at the moment. Right there is a potato plant. So, for right now, things are pretty sad and pathetic in the garden area, but I'm still holding out hope and I'm trying the best I can, and I guess we'll just have to see what we have. As you know, we started a bunch of seeds a while back. They needed to be repotted like back during the time when I was doing school and stuff like that, so I didn't get really around to repotting them like I should, so they kind of got a little overgrown and scraggly. But I decided to go ahead and offer them for sale to people at a cheaper, reduced price. And then I got the idea to offer to trade people things. And you know, that's been working out really well, and I'm really, really excited. Right here I got this really nice bunch of hen and chicks. And for that I traded black raspberry plant. And then right here is a big bunch of beautiful lemon mint. For that I traded some tomatoes, peppers, and cantaloupe plants. And then over here I have a peony plant. And for that, I traded some sweet potato slips that came from some of our potatoes that we grew last year. And then over here, I got a big bunch of honeysuckle. It's kind of in shock and doesn't look the greatest, but I took some slips off of it, and I have them in the house in water, and I'm trying to root them, so I guess we'll see how that goes. But I ended up trading that for some black raspberries, too. I've really been having a lot of fun trading with people and seeing what all interesting things I can come up with. I'm going to continue to do it because I really want to get a large variety of different things growing around here. I figure it's one of the cheapest ways to do it, and also it allows me to discover new things that I wouldn't have thought of before. So anyway, back to the garden. After I got my school done, I was so excited because I was going to get out here and get to planting and get the garden in. And, well, for several weeks there, we just had continuous downpours of rain nonstop. I mean, the garden got flooded and it was just a mess. And then in the in-between times when it wasn't raining, it was pretty nice out to where I could have came out and planted, but the garden was so darn muddy I couldn't even really get out here. And so because of that, I haven't really gotten a whole lot planted in the garden, and it kind of makes me sad. Anyway, I guess I'll go through and show you what I have planted. I got my tomatoes in. Unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to replant a few of them because I think they quite literally drowned. These might be coming out of it okay. Luckily over here, these are actually doing really well, growing and looking good. So the next thing I have is the lettuce, which this lettuce down here is looking really good. And, you know, some of that lettuce isn't looking too bad. And then the onions, they aren't doing so hot because they have just been sitting in water. And then in the middle here I've got my cabbage, and it's pretty much just been setting and not growing. I'm pretty much giving up on that because it's starting to get really, really hot, and I'm sure it will not survive through the heat or grow very well. So right through here we had several rows of potatoes. And when it rained, we had a big old lake right there, and they stood underwater forever. So over half of them didn't come up. And then the ones that did are kind of struggling to survive right now. There's a few that are doing a little better. So what I think I'm going to do with this area is just throw a bunch of mulch over it and just leave it. I might plant something in the fall here, but I'm not sure yet. And then over here, I got the okra in, and it's doing pretty good. And then over there, as you know, I just now planted a lemon mint plant. And probably what I'm going to do is continue to plant those down, right down there. Then over here are the peppers. We had a heavy rain and some winds, and it kind of pounded a few of them down into the ground, and they didn't survive. So I had to replant a few. Then right here, Miley planted some 4 o'clocks. And right along here, we have a whole bunch of zinnias coming up. I got a big bag of zinnia seed. It's the kind that has the mulch and fertilizer, and you're just supposed to sprinkle it and then let them grow. And so I decided to try that, and we have a whole ton of them coming up. I'm probably going to have to thin them out, but and maybe transplant them around. But I'm pretty excited that they all came up. Right here's a hollyhock from what Miley had planted last year, and I don't know what the deal is with it, but it's been acting like it's going to die. And then over there is a rhubarb plant. And then over here, of course, is our black raspberry bush, and as you can see, it's got a lot of fruit on it. So we're really excited about that, especially Miley. And I got this little pathway back here behind the tomatoes and between the back fence all mulched the other day. The barns got flooded multiple times, and so I've been scooping all the nasty wet hay out of there and throwing it in here on the garden. And then because we put up a new garden fence, I decided to try some pole beans for the very first time. I just planted them, I don't know how long ago, maybe a week ago or so, and as you can see, they are starting to come up. And so right along this whole area here, I've got pole beans. Now I do have a few more things over here in the greenhouse, and I really enjoy planting in here a lot more than I do out there, because it seems like in here things just do better because they're kind of like protected from the elements of the weather and all of that. And so I would really love to be able to put 3 or 4 more of these up, because it does really protect from the hail and the wind, and it protects from the rain. Anyway, right here are radishes. I mean, most of them are overgrown, and I just need to pull them out. Same way with over here. Then I got a bunch of lettuce right there. I need to start picking it and eating it. I need to get these plants out of the way, but right back there I've started some cucumbers, and they're actually starting to bloom. So I'm going to let them grow up in this area right here. Then down here I have peppers. The back row are California Wonders, and then the front row are the sweet long peppers. Then over here I have 2 cherry tomatoes, and then the basil. I've noticed something is starting to eat on the basil, and even something has been eating on the zinnia right there. Normally I try to do organic pest control as much as possible, but this year I think I'm seriously going to consider going ahead and using some kind of chemical pesticide, as much as I hate to, but we still have a huge grub problem in here and in the garden. So I want to try to stay ahead of the beetles especially, and I just think this year is going to be really bad pest-wise because of all the rain we've had. And then over here some Swiss chard. It's doing really good. It's getting big. I could probably start picking it. Then up here are some of Brooke's herbs. Her oregano's doing pretty good, and she's got some dill and some sage. and some cilantro. I've been wanting to get this planted, and then we got a few more basil plants, and some parsley, some thyme. Then over here are a few of my little plants that I'm still planning to plant out in the garden. Some cantaloupe, or this is squash actually, and cantaloupes back here, and watermelon. But it's just been one heck of a year, I tell you. I'm going to take you around and I'm going to show you some other things that we have growing around here. The apple tree is big and beautiful, and it is just loaded with apples. Even way, way, way up there, there's just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of apples. Unfortunately, though, the cedar apple rust is taking over on it. In the past, it's gotten pretty bad with that, but then it hasn't really affected the apples a whole lot. In other years, it's caused it to drop all its apples, so I guess we'll just have to wait and see. We probably should have sprayed. Then over here is my mom's peach tree that she planted several years ago. And look, it is just loaded with peaches. And they look so good. And then over here, we decided to turn this into a strawberry patch. And we got some strawberries, and they are doing really well. They're spreading like crazy. And we really like having them in this thing right here because it protects them from the birds. Our flowers are just beautiful this year. This is the first year that we've had blooming peonies, and they are almost done. But they were so beautiful when they were in full bloom. And then for Mother's Day, my mom and I each got a cherry bush. And we are so excited about that because we have really been wanting some of those for a very long time. I got the Romeo and she got the Juliet. I think the Romeo is more of a fresh eating cherry, and the Juliet is more of a cherry for canning. And so we still need to decide where we want to plant them. So that's pretty much what we have growing around here. There's been many times this spring when I thought about just giving up on the garden, not really doing a whole lot for it because I'm so late. But you know, I got to thinking about that, and you know, I always tell people when they're frustrated to not give up and just keep trying. Just go ahead and plant things because you never know how things are going to grow. I decided, you know, I really do need to go ahead and take my own advice on that, and so I've decided I'm just going to continue to plant, and we'll see where it goes and what it does.